Welcome to the Fares Management Interactive Lesson 3 on icons. Icons are essentially shapes or symbols or custom configurations that replace a normal booth square. This allows the planner to go ahead and use complex shapes that need to be taken in consideration in terms of layouts or symbols or color representations to help differentiate between various types of displays. The way we begin would be to make a minimum pod, as we've discussed in the previous lessons. So we go to our booth layout tab, we go up to our booth pod control, and we make a minimum booth, minimum pod. And we're going to make this one kind of large. We're going to make it 60 feet by 60 feet. You could make it any size, and in fact, sometimes the icons, if they are a carnival ride or something with a specific dimension, actually have that in the listing that's provided. So we hit new, and there's our minimum pod. We're going to go ahead and delete one of them in the single booth control. And we're going to go ahead and make that remaining one active by clicking on it. Down in the lower left-hand corner is the asterisk, which is the advanced control for single booths. And we have a drop-down. As you see, it says normal, and if we want to change a icon back to a normal booth appearance, then that's what we click as normal. But if we click our down arrow, you'll see that we have various color representations. When we hit blue box and hit OK, you'll see it's just an outline. We're going to go ahead and go back into our icon again. And we're going to go down a little bit further, and we're going to go ahead and hit orange circle. And again, it's an outline. And I'm going to keep going back to the drop down and show you some of the various things that can be done here. We have octagon shapes, and this can show various types of displays. One of the interesting things we've got here is a red line, green line. Now, where this is useful is, and I'm going to make a copy by hitting new on my single booth control, and then I'm going to make this 4 foot by 300. And it'll make sense in a second. And what we're going to do is we're going to click red line. And what this allows us to do is to create various fencing and border lines. It could be a curtain line, but essentially be able to draw lines on your layout. We'll go back and click on the original and make that active. Let's go down and look at some more of these objects. Now, we can also create objects like tents. Now keep in mind while we do this that you can request any kind of shape, and within 24 hours it will be on your list and you can use it. Now with the tent, we can go ahead and specify a specific size. So I'm going to make it a 30 by 120 foot tent. Hit OK, and now we've got our tent size. Now let's go ahead and look at some more of these. We've got some map symbols. You can see we've got food service, accessible ramps, ATMs, accessible restrooms, regular restrooms. And then we've got some safety icons too. Fuel, electric shock, things like this. Now, one of the other things we have here is RVs. So for your fairgrounds that offer RV parking during an event, we can actually design an RV park by using our pod controls that is in the previous lesson. And we can actually mark an RV out and make a grouping of those. Now one of the things that's kind of interesting is we can also, we'll go down a little further, We've also got a very large collection of manufacturer rides. These are to their specifications. Let's go ahead and click on the Century Carousel. It says it's 45 by 45 feet. I'm going to make it that size. Now it's a 45 by 45 RV, but when we click on the Century Carousel and we hit on that, now we've got it, and also you'll notice it has an arrow that indicates where the entranceway is for that particular ride. Let's go ahead and look at some more icons. And we go through our rides, as you can see. Now we've also got alphanumeric, and this would be for making a key on your layout. You can actually mark it with numbers or mark it with the alphabet and accompany with a document that calls out your various areas. You can actually call them out on text on the planner, but typically people will have an accompanying document. Now, this is what's very interesting. You can provide an architectural pre-built design to us, and we can create it as an icon. I'm going to go ahead and I've clicked on this ride, and I'm going to make it 500 feet by 300 feet. Now initially you're going to see it go with still the ride icon on it. I kind of goofed up there. There it is. We're going to move it here. It looks rather bizarre there, doesn't it? So now let's go and click on our architectural. Now you can see that it's been done. I'm going to zoom out. The 500 is called out the wrong way. It's very obvious right away. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and change it to 300 length and 500 width. So now this is a way that we can drop a proposed building in. We can even go up here and we can rotate it. I'm going to take a guess and say 10 degrees. Wrong way, 10 degrees. So we go back in and we're going to go negative 10 degrees. There you go. Now we drop it in. Now let's say that that's great, but now we want to experiment with a different size footprint. Well, we can also go back here and increase it by 10% and call it 330 by 550. Hit OK. And now again we can do this. Now there's many different icons that we can place in that list for you. We've had garden shows that had configurations that were very asymmetric, very irregular, and we were provided the drawings, and it drops it in to scale and accurately so that you can plan around it. We've also done special farming equipment. We can also create just specialty icons in terms of displays, entranceways, dumpsters, anything you like to plan it. And one of the shows that has really made a lot of use of the icons is the Canadian National Exhibition, and I'll show you in a second their displays and what they've done with it, just to give you an idea. Now, in terms of icons, you are only limited by your imagination or the requirements and diversity of your event. You can either give us a verbal description and we can create some options for you to approve, or you can send us something very specific, or we can go with a manufacturer's specification. But in either case, we clearly define the areas for you and allow you to manage inventories of the various different objects that you need to manage. Here's something very interesting. We have a road there on the left that our graphics department put in, and then a proposed facility addition for the future. And this allows the planner to go into years ahead planning the layouts that take in consideration those new additions in the future. Another hard-coded addition we have is the ability to create utility maps for you, which is very good for emergency response and for planning some of the utilities and layout coordinations. You can see that we have a very comprehensive map here that allows you to very quickly map out and overlay your event layouts to coordinate with the utility considerations. So that concludes our lesson 3 on icons. We see that icons can be many things. They can be symbols, they can be architecture, and they can be hard-coded applications to assist in your planning. We look forward to talking with your team and getting your ideas of what else we can add. This is a totally customizable feature that's included with every subscription.